If Trump was the original Terminator, DeSantis is like the T-1000.
Ron DeSantis is far more dangerous than Donald Trump.
They're just like, oh, well, at least DeSantis isn't crazy like Trump. And I'm like, no, you should be more scared of him than Trump.
He's like the worst version of Trump.
Ron DeSantis is despicable. He's disgraceful.
The real reason this man is so terrifying is because he's managed to succeed in areas where Trump has failed.
I honestly believe DeSantis was forged in hell. There's no doubt in my mind. Look at my face.
We think DeSantis is more dangerous than Trump, to some degree because he's less incompetent.
If anyone out there thinks that somehow he is any better than Donald Trump, then they don't know Ron DeSantis.
If you thought Donald Trump was bad, you got another thing coming.
He may actually be able to do a lot of the things Trump merely wanted to do but failed to do.
DeSantis actually knows the system.
This guy is worse than Trump.
DeSantis is shrewd, ruthless, and ambitious.
He's delivered more cruelty than Donald Trump.
He's smarter than Trump. I think we all kind of recognize this.
He's a lawyer. He's Harvard and Yale trained and educated. He's not a stupid man.
And I think Ron DeSantis is far more dangerous than Donald Trump.
But he's also more competent, I think.
Scarier than Trump because he's not so incompetent.
He's more cunning.
He's not an incompetent administrator in the way that Trump was.
He would be more able to get things done.
Ron DeSantis is far more dangerous than Donald Trump. Far more dangerous than Donald Trump.
Far more likely, if he becomes president, to successfully implement a lot of these horrible and disastrous ideas.
DeSantis is quite clever. Part of his cleverness is that he got the undocumented people on planes and flew them to Martha's Vineyard.
Ron DeSantis is a dangerous person and would be a dangerous president.
A more disciplined extremist.
The Trump agenda would be far more likely to be carried on by people less cartoonishly problematic, and Ron DeSantis is a perfect example of such an individual.
What's going on in Florida is, as my mother would say, close to sinful. I mean, it's just terrible what they're doing.
The most right-wing, edgelord person you've ever seen on the internet, and make Donald Trump seem kind of chill.
DeSantis is such a dark character.
He's somebody who brings the arrogance of Donald Trump, the paranoia of Richard Nixon.
This guy is just the prince of darkness.
Their second choice is a guy who is worse than Trump.
My daddy was like, oh, you know, they really sleeping on Trump. It's going to be Trump. I'm like, Daddy, I'm telling you, open your eyes. DeSantis is a fucking problem, Daddy.
He's smarter than Donald Trump. He's far more strategic.
He's a lot more dangerous than Trump, like we were talking about. He may not look it, but he's smarter than Trump. You know, Trump was a useful idiot. DeSantis is smart.
He's more sinister. You know why? Because there's less buffoonery to it.
Not like a bumbling idiot the way that Trump is.
Trump gets easily distracted through a sort of like adult ADHD where he ends up just watching the TV in the back of the room. He doesn't end up getting that much done. And
Ron DeSantis would be far more dangerous than Donald Trump.
He is young and he is far more disciplined than Trump.
Because Ron DeSantis is not a clown.
Many of Donald Trump's failings were from just kind of not paying attention. Ron DeSantis, on the other hand, is far less likely to be ineffective.
If he has policy goals that he wants to achieve, he would be more likely to figure out how to pull the levers of government to make it happen.
DeSantis is somebody who will work in the dark, work in the shadows. He will still accomplish what Trump wants to accomplish.
Maybe he's going to do things in a quieter manner, but believe me, the end result is not going to be good.
But he will do so successfully because he's not over the top. He isn't in your face. He doesn't have a lot of baggage.
He's not going to be somebody that tweets in the middle of the night some idea and then has his administration figuring it out how to do it on the back end. He would figure it out on the front end, plot it out, and then announce it.
So Ron DeSantis, I think, is more dangerous.
What scares me about Ron DeSantis is that he offers Trumpism without Trump.
He's more savvy, he's more coy, and he doesn't have the pitfalls that Donald Trump does.
Ron DeSantis is worse than Donald Trump.
DeSantis is an even greater threat to democracy than Trump.
He's a threat to our democracy and he's a threat.
If Donald Trump becomes president again, he'll be less dangerous than Ron DeSantis.
People think, oh, we're going to go for Ron DeSantis because he's normal. He's not normal.
Difference between he and Donald Trump is not that Ron DeSantis is no drama. It's that he's more successful at the cruelty.
As horrible and grotesque as he is, Donald Trump is not as dangerous as this guy. Ron DeSantis.
It is beginning to feel less like a governorship and more like a regime.
He's running more to the extreme
than Trump on several issues.
The guy who will wield power in a way that extends even beyond what Trump did.
You know, he plays by Trump's rules, which is scary because he's, I think, a lot smarter and more focused than Trump.
Based on what he's done in 5 years in Florida, what would he do with all of the levers of power in the White House?
Authoritarianism that goes even beyond what Trump has talked about.
People need to realize this, and I'm trying to talk about it as much as possible because it's really scary. It's really scary.
Scary, a scary man.
Really scary.
Oh, the liberals, including me, they don't like Donald DeSantis, therefore you should like him.
These are such weird times that because the highest virtue is triggering the left and triggering the libs, they actually get mileage from so many people saying, this guy is dangerous.